Most people add a light strip behind their TV or they buy one of the hundreds of pre made wall lighting products. I didn't do that. I added 2,355 addressable LED sections across 7 data channels, powered by a 1,500-watt power supply, and permanently built it into my walls. So, yeah, let's talk about how I did this correctly. This project blew up on TikTok with over 4 million views, but that version skipped the part everyone actually wants: the planning, the math, the wiring logic, and how not to fry your LEDs or your house. This isn't just a wall with lights slapped on it. The main wall is 25 feet wide and 7 feet tall. It's built as alternating vertical wood slats and aluminum LED channels. And this winter, I added a second 4-foot kitchen accent wall wrapped on all 3 sides and tied into the exact same system. In total, the main build includes over 500 feet of 24-volt COB LED strips, roughly 3,000 addressable LED sections, 9 independent data channels, power injections roughly every 400 LEDs, all controlled by WLED and fully integrated into Home Assistant. And yes, I knew this was overkill while I was planning it. If you get this part wrong, everything downstream gets worse. This is where you calculate not just how many supplies that you'll need, but also what your power requirements are going to be, and we'll get into that in a little bit. I used 1x2 poplar slats, which, surprise, are not actually 2 inches wide. Never knew why that was the case. So I measured the real board width, the aluminum channel width, accounted for spacing tolerances, and calculated the total number of rows. I didn't eyeball this, I mathed the hell out of it. And that's when I realized I was going to need over 70 boards and 50 aluminum LED channels.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
All the horizontal wire transitions are hidden behind the slats for a clean look. Before installing anything, I dado routed grooves into the floor trim, the ceiling, the windows, and the door trim. This matters because it allows for vertical LED runs to connect cleanly. It prevents wiring shadows inside of the channels, and it makes LED strip installation dramatically easier. If you skip this step, your wall is going to fight you in the entire install. These are BTF Lighting 24-volt COB WS2811 strips with 720 LEDs per meter. I chose these because COB gives you dotless diffusion, 24-volt means lower current per foot, and also longer usable runs. And WS2811 plays real nice with WLED. One 5-meter strip feeds 2 vertical channels. Quick tip here: when you start cutting LEDs, leave the factory ends and cut towards the middle of the strip. Less soldering means fewer failure points. And as my dad always said, you work smarter, not harder. Each data channel controls 4 strips, zigzag top to bottom. Around the window, the top and bottom aren't the same channel. I'm actively re-indexing this layout in X-Lights because the long-term plan is to convert this into a full pixel wall. This is the part where most people quit their LED builds.
I quit.
Quit?
But I encourage you to push through. I use Quinn LED's voltage calculator and intermittent text videos to determine wire gauge, injection spacing, and power supply sizing. This stuff matters if you want to work properly and not burn down your house.
My house burned down.
My power strategy was simple: roughly 400 addressable LED sections. Power and data is injected at the same physical location for ease. For power, I used a 1500-watt mean wheel power supply. Overkill? Maybe, but just in case. Stable and future-proof? Absolutely. COB LED strips only cut at specific points on the strip, so accuracy matters. My best practices were tin the pads first, heat shrink every joint, and then test everything before mounting. This was my first big soldering project. I absolutely cooked a few strips learning. It sucked, but it was a great learning experience, and it made me way better at making clean connections for future projects. When I built the new kitchen accent wall, I used it as a chance to add a permanent control point for the house. I mounted a Samsung Ultra tablet, used a low-profile wall mount, and it runs a Home Assistant dashboard full-time. This isn't just a tablet stuck on the wall, it's a live control surface, lighting scenes, LED presets, climate, system status, all right where you actually use it. To power it cleanly, I installed a recess outlet inside the wall, wired it into the light switch directly below it, and then I also added a Zeus power relay to the outlet so I can create on and off automations. And the reason I did this is simple. In the past, I've had wall tablets run hot, sit on the chargers forever, and I've even seen batteries expand, especially on cheaper tablets. Now I can schedule power, reboot it cleanly, or shut it down at night without ripping it off the wall, no pulling the tablet down, no crawling around, no nonsense. Flush mount, hidden plugs, hardwire power, Same planning rule as all the LEDs. In a future video, I'm going to break down exactly how I designed this Home Assistant dashboard, what lives on the main screen, what's hidden, how I group automations, and how I make it usable for everyone in the house. Because a wall-mounted tablet only works if the dashboard actually makes sense. Otherwise, you've just built a really expensive light switch. All wiring terminates are in a hidden enclosure. Every wire end uses ferrules. The Dig Octa brain and power board are stacked with room left for future expansion. I'll also be doing a future video expanding this system to top a cabinet, under cabinet, and then also toe kick LED lighting strips. All driven from the same Dig Octa controller using channels 3 through 5, so everything stays visually synchronized. In WLED, exact LED count matters. Get one number wrong and half of your strip looks like it's dead or it's not working. Color order should be RGB. The GPIO pins are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 12. Use it as a single segment so they're all showing the same lighting effect. And you can also create presets for Home Assistant. This is the easiest way to control your WLED lights inside of Home Assistant. It didn't work perfectly the first time. I had burnt LEDs, a few bad joints, but once it was dialed in, everything synchronized perfectly. This wall completely transformed the space. Architecturally, clean, fully addressable, and deeply integrated into my smart home. And yeah, I'd absolutely do it again. If you want the full parts list, the wiring logic, or the WLED presets, they're in the link below. And make sure you're subscribed, because the next video dives deep into how I designed the Home Assistant dashboard and the additional kitchen lighting build. And thanks for watching.